Inuyasha and Yashahime translation by Ayuria. Shonen Sunday Super December edition. Takahashi Rumiko Sensei's Question Corner. Rumik Question. From the many questions we received from readers via the web, we chose 20 questions for Takahashi Rumiko Sensei to answer. The names of the characters in Inuyasha are not only original but fit them so well that you can't think of any other name. Peerlessly cool, good taste. How did you come up with their names?
Once you name a character, you cannot change it, so that is what I worry about the most. Even if I give them a temporary name for when they make their debut, if it doesn't stick, I will think all the way up to the last minute. While all I can say is that was the name that fit that character, a name that is easy to call, draw, and remember, a name that fits the story. For example, in flower language, Kikyo means unchanging love, or how Kagome is like a children's song and cute. I feel like Shishomaru originally had a different name, but I forgot. On the other hand, I remember that outfit design solidified when I decided on the name.
There are a lot of demons that appear in Inuyasha, but who was the hardest and easiest to draw?
Magatsuhi was the hardest to draw. He didn't have a solid form after all. Also, I drew them as I pleased, so I don't remember really struggling.
Is Buyo a male or female?
When serialization first started, I thought they were a male at first, but as I continued to draw, I started to think, this cat might be an old lady. They might be a female. Well, Buyo is Buyo, so I think it's fine if everyone decides for themselves whether Buyo is a male or a female.
I want to know how Sesshomaru and Jakin first met. Was Jakin an old man from the time they first met?
I remember their meeting being drawn in an original episode in the Inuyasha anime. I can't remember which episode number though. According to that, Jockin was a demon leader who lost to Shishomaru in battle and thus decided to follow him. I think that was the scenario, and I think he was an old man as well.
If Kikyo had lived on, would she and Kagome have been good friends?
As long as Inuyasha is around, I think it would be really hard for them to be friends like nothing happened. I imagine they would have this strange tension between them as they accepted the other while feeling uneasy. I don't think Inuyasha can mentally handle that either.
I like small creatures that appear in the Rumic world like Kirara and Shippo. So could you tell us what you focus on when drawing these small creatures?
I make sure that they're fundamentally cute in appearance. Also because of how small they are, they ride on the main character's shoulder. Anyhow, I make sure that they can show the spotlight.
I think Tessaiga is a good sword that is considerate of the main character, such as when it gives Inuyasha a warning so as not to hurt him, but Inuyasha treats it so recklessly in comparison. Though he acts like that fully trusting Tessaiga, if Tessaiga could talk, what do you think it would say to Inuyasha? I have loved Inuyasha since I was in elementary school, and I viewed the manga and anime, but looking back, I feel Tessaiga was gallant in responding to Inuyasha's recklessness. I was curious about this, so I decided to ask.
Tetsaiga is a sword forged from his father's fangs, so while being Inuyasha's friend, I would guess that it might be an existence of higher status. If it could talk, it would probably say, hurry up and catch up to me.
Thank you for the anime support project. What a time to be alive to be able to send a question to Takahashi Rumiko sensei is what I think. I've loved Inuyasha since I was a child and it's my life's Bible. I admired Kagome and lived thinking that I want to be a kind, strong woman like her. Now, here is my question. There was a scene where Sesshomaru said, I don't eat human food. But for a demon that doesn't attack humans, what does he eat to sustain his life? I mean, Inuyasha and Shippo ate with Kagome and the others, so do demons and humans eat the same thing? Was Sesshomaru by chance bluffing with that line? Lastly, I look forward to the serialization of Hanyo no Yashahime and Mao. Thank you for all your wonderful works.
Thank you for your support. Shishomaru's meals, I can't imagine it after all. There's a possibility he absorbs mist of essence or energy of the demons he's defeated. Also, fruits are another possibility.
Within Inuyasha, is there a story that was most fun for you to draw? Also, I would love for Sensei to tell us your best, favorite episode.
I have a lot of favorite episodes, so it's hard to decide. Black haired Inuyasha on the night of the new moon was refreshing and fun, and the stories of Inuyasha going to the modern era and loosening up as he took a break from fighting had me in many laughing fits. Also, drawing the story for the Band of Seven made me excited. And while fun may not be the right word, I put a lot of effort into Kagura's death and Kikyo's last moments with the idea that I wanted to give them a proper send off. The process of Kagome and Inuyasha and Moroku and Sango's relationship gradually changing was also fun. Ultimately, if I had to pick one, it's probably the final episode. I finished drawing it feeling I finally made it, and it was satisfying.
I love the Band of Seven in Inuyasha. Did Bankotsu, who is the strongest member of the Band of Seven, scout the others? Bankotsu and Jakotsu seem close, so are they the first members? I've always wondered this. I look forward to appealing enemies appearing in Yashahime.
I think all the other members of the Band of Seven most likely had enough strength to make it on their own. For all those people to come together would require a very strong leader at its core, which is basically what Bankotsu was. Also, being together made jobs easier or they felt there may have been a merit. I feel like Bankotsu and Jakotsu, being the founding members, does indeed fit really nicely.
I really like Monk Moroku and Sango in Inuyasha, and I continue to support them even now. My question is, in the end, how many children did these two who said, would you be willing to bear 10, 20 children when they proposed to have? If you have backstories and such for the children, I would love to hear them.
I only remember the twins and the newborn baby boy that appeared in the last chapter of Inuyasha making an appearance in Yashahime. In my mind, I didn't think of anything beyond that, but they are still a young married couple, so I think there's unlimited possibilities. I am happy that you like these two even now. Thank you very much.
I have a question regarding the different use for scent and odor. The expressions for when Sesshomaru smelled something, for Rin, it was constantly scent, and for everything else, it was odor. When they first met too, the expression was a human scent. Just as Inuyasha called Kagome smell a scent, is it because it is a smell that they like?
I had an image of Inuyasha and Sesshomaru differentiating between friend or foe with smell. Of course, scent is friend, while odor is enemy. In addition, keeping in mind of the image that comes to the reader's mind when they see these words, I fundamentally had scent used for female characters. I wanted readers to get a sense of purity and cuteness from it.
If there's an episode or scene in Inuyasha that ended up turning out differently than what was originally thought up prior to serialization, could you please tell us?
First, I only started the story with the idea of Half Demon Inuyasha getting backstabbed by Kikyo and getting sealed away, and having a sword that was his father's memento. Everything else I created while thinking on the week of. Thus, Naraku came after, as well as I thought of Shippo, Moroku, and Sango when they debuted. I had thought of Shishomaru possibly dying after protecting a human, but it seemed like such a waste and I became unable to kill him. The direction of the story was decided when the antagonist, Naraku, was born. I'm an ad lib type person, so I won't be surprised by what I draw if I decide things too far ahead. It's fun to imagine every week. What will they do? What will happen?
Inuyasha is my Bible on life. When talk of Yashahime happened, what was your first thought?
In my mind, Inuyasha was complete, so when they spoke to me about this, I thought, you're going to do this? However, Sumizawa-san, who handled the scenario for the Inuyasha anime, is a person who, in addition to being adept and talented, does not make mistakes, so I felt that I could leave it to him.
In the final chapter of the original work, Sesshomaru was gifting Rin a kimono, but how did he go about obtaining it? I'm really curious as to if Sesshomaru delivered something Jaken prepared or if he went and bought it himself.
I thought about this over and over after I received this question. I think, after all, he would order Jokin to go buy it and continue buying until he bought a kimono that fit his image. On top of that, he probably doesn't tell him a precise image to begin with.
In Hanyo no Yashahime, we saw Grandma Kaede. Seeing her surprised me. She hasn't changed from the time of Inuyasha. Is Grandma Kaede by chance a demon?
She's a human. However, she still has the role of advising the young folks and having them listen to stories from the past, so maybe she doesn't age because it's something worth doing.
In Hanyo no Yashahime, Inuyasha and Kagome's child Moroha appears. Inuyasha is a half-demon, Kagome is a human, and Moroha is crossed between a human and a half-demon. Do the three of them age differently in the feudal era?
In the span of the story, they seem to age the same. I'm sure the results will gradually begin to show after a few decades.
In Hanyo no Yashahime, Moroha wears a red ribbon. Is this ribbon something with Inuyasha's ears in mind? Also, why is it that Inuyasha, who is half-demon, has dog ears, but Toa and Setsuna, who are also half demons, do not. I can understand Moroha since she's a quarter demon. Is there a basis for the dog ears? Please tell us.
Just as you guessed, Maruha's ribbon was a projection of Inuyasha's image. In regards to the dog ears for Toa and Setsuna, Sesshomaru takes a human form, and reversely, Inuyasha was something like a half-beast. The half-demons that appear in Inuyasha have all sorts of appearances, so understand that it depends on the individual.
Ever since I watched the anime Inuyasha when I was 5 years old, it has been my absolute favorite work. When I was young, whenever I looked at the sacred tree at the shrine, I always imagined, was Inuyasha sealed to this tree? It's been 12 years since the original work was concluded, 10 years since the anime final act. I'm so excited for Hanyo no Yashahime beginning this fall. What was the most important thing when you designed the half-demon princess Toa, Setsuna, and Moroha?
Scenario writer Sumizawa-san asked of me the following images: Toa as a white Sesshomaru and Setsuna as a black Sesshomaru. While they're twins, they grow up in two completely different eras, so I designed them as two separate individuals. In addition, while Toa wears a boy's uniform, I thought it would be good if she had a feminine streak to her. Moroha strongly resembles Inuyasha and Kagome. She's a cheerful character, so I didn't have any second thoughts when I drew her into what she is now.
Is there anything in Hanyo no Yashahime that you would like readers to pay attention to?
Sunrise's beautiful pictures and animations, as well as the story, is also entertaining. The previous generation will periodically make an appearance, and I think Toa, Setsuna, and Moroha are each charming. I think it's a work that both first time people and people who watch Inuyasha can enjoy. Also, Wadakaru san continues from Inuyasha as being in charge of music. I'm excited for this as well.
We received a comment, autograph, and illustration for all the readers from Takahashi Rumiko sensei.
Please enjoy Hanyo no Yashahime.